Now, if you were around 150 pounds to 170 pounds before you fell, and now your weight is almost double that, which is 340 anyway, right, to 300, right? How do you deal with that? Well, you do what you can, and you emphasize exercising, right? The most, right? Over even cleaning your house. Why? Well, when you do it exercising, you're using two chemicals. One is called endorphins, and the other one is called adrenaline, right? But when you're doing what's called tedious work, and I've explained this before to you, like you're a moron several times, what's the difference? Well, you're working parts of your body, right? So when I pile up the trash, right, and I pick it up, yes, that's the work, right? That's something to do, right? But why can that hurt versus walking to the end of the block and back, right? Or the whole subdivision itself, hypothetically, right? Because one, I'm outside and exercising. Two, I'm just bending over repeatedly, right, picking up the trash. Right? One is called, chore work. Right? What's chores? Well, that's where you gotta clean your house, or you gotta clean this, or you gotta clean that, right? You got to do that periodically, or your house will be a shambles, right? Or a wreck, right? Now, this here is called a boken, right? So, this is a boken of a ninjato, not a samurai, which is a katana, right? So, if I can do this, right, versus bend over, why can that help me lose weight versus that, right? I'm exercising and specifically targeting my arms or my area that I'm not injured in. Now, when I do that, what happens? Well, I get muscle tone, right? When you repeatedly, you know, do certain activities, you get what's called tone. You don't want your arms to be too flabby or this, that, and the other. Now, the other thing in the martial arts is they use stick like weapons. This here is called a jo. Mm-hmm. It's about 50 inches long, and it's usually used in Aikido. But what else can you do with it? Curls. Right. I can curl it like with a weight. I can press it. Oops. Like that. I can even bring it over my head and back. Right. And sit down. Which don't cause me back pain as much as, say, picking up the trash, right? But so why would walking at a pace be better than picking up trash for someone with a bad back, say? If you can't understand it, rocket scientist that you are, I guess. I don't know. Why would that bother your back more if you have to repeatedly bend over versus walking down the road in that, right? I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah, you do. Because you gotta pick it up and bend over, and then, right, then you're playing dumb, right? You're playing totally idiotic to a person who's injured, right? With no reason other than you think something happened with my stepdaughter, right? Which is bullcrap, right? Usually that gets reported by the mom. And when, shortly after I moved back to base, right, I was legally separated from her for a year, right? If something happened and she didn't file or go to the police, there was no evidence of a crime, right? Even occurring, right? But I was around the child, and that I was on the couch and she was in there with her mom, right? But like I said, then you're making me make something up, right? When I have to make something up, and I tell you I'm making this up, right? From that point on, it's made up, you know? It's fictionalizing it, right? Which legally, because of Hollywood, I can do, right? I can even talk about SVU topics because it can happen to anyone's family, right? Fiction or real, right? And what am I saying? You're saying, well, you're saying that my stepdaughter woke me up after she and her mom went to sleep, right? And me too. Except I went to sleep more around 11 p.m., right? And they went to sleep between 8 and 9 p.m., right? 3 hours difference or so. 2 to 3 hours difference, right? So if the child was to wake me up, one, I would be kind of out of it and not who I was anyway, right? Not fully. Two, I wouldn't even expect it. And three, I would have to suddenly deal with it and figure out why she's in there with me, right? Nothing I can do, I've told you so far, is a crime, right? And not allowed by a step parent, right? I don't care if you like me or not. I don't care if you pretend I did something or not. The difference is, whether I expected it or not, I know how to deal with a 4-year-old. With or without your approval. That I do, too, right? Now, if my ex-wife was asleep or awake when it happened, right, over 30 years ago, right, in 2000, I don't know, 24, right, that'll be officially, right, 30 years since it could have happened anyway, right? And you just keep accusing me with no proof. Well, the problem with free speech is I can't do nothing if you say that, right? I don't have a way to sue you for slander, right? And the reason you can say that is called free will. And freedom of speech, right? Even if it's derogatory, I can't prove who's saying it or why. So you get off the hook. No one can prove it cheap, right? You're doing so anonymously, whereas I'm having a real problem, right? So I'm trying to really reach people in a real person, right? And telling you the real problem I got, right? Which is Hollywood. And they can't deal with my miracle, right? One involves a car wreck where I'm only in the hospital less than 2 days, right? That's normal? No. No. And the other one, I know, I fall 3 stories and I'm in the hospital a month and a half and I'm walking by the end of it, right? And they didn't expect I would walk again, right? Both are technically miracles you would only find in the Bible. Both the wreck and the fall. My turnaround time, which is what it's called when you're in the hospital, is less than 2 days. Right? No one even comes close, not even the boxer who was in the hospital for 5 days after his wreck. Right? And most people take time to recover. Mm-hmm. I was in the hospital 2 days. I went back to doing what I was doing before, even the karate. I know. But, I know. I also might have missed my window to get tested because at the same time, right, there were other things going on. My mom and stepdad she was having problems with him, so they were going to divorce and stuff like that, right? And again, right, she got tested for brown belt, but I never did, right? Sometime during that time, whatever. And it don't bother me none, right? I would have tested if I could have, but I didn't, so I didn't get the belt. That's life. That's life. But I did get tested up to blue belt, which is one belt below her, right? No big deal. No big deal. Unless a butt wipe like you pretends that's a choice when I'm kind of half out of it and not worried about it. But next thing I know, my mom's a brown belt and I'm still a blue, but I can still do the karate and everything up to the belt I was shown. Right. That's all I can do now, right? And that's the end of it. Right. Bye.